Hi everyone, this is AJ. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to a new movie review. Today I'm going to be reviewing the new 2022 David Cronenberg movie, Crimes of the Future. So let's unpack this one because there is quite a bit to unpack with this film. Okay, yeah, so this film, Crimes of the Future, not to be confused with David Cronenberg's film from, when was it, 30, 35 years ago? I don't know, 40 years? David Cronenberg, in his early days, he did do a film called Crimes of the Future. Now, this film has nothing to do with that, it's other than the same name, same title, which is a bit odd, but there we go. Now, this film isn't a remake of that film or anything of the like. This film is directed and written by David Cronenberg with quite a top-notch cast, including Viggo Mortensen, Scott Speedman and Kristen Stewart. Yeah, I want to talk about this film because I'll be honest, I'm not too sure on David Cronenberg as a director. I mean, he's talented. Yes, he is a very talented person. I won't take that away from him. But I think he is an acquired taste, shall we say. His movies push certain boundaries. They're quite, I suppose, could offend some people in some respect. And you know, beyond something like The Fly, which is probably one of his most marketable movies, you know, he's done other stuff like 1996's Crash, and this film isn't dissimilar to that in a sense, and it also has echoes of his 1999 movie Existence as well. So what this film is about, we're in the future, a little way into the future, and the human body has started adapting, has started evolving, shall we say. That it's actually given us new organs within, and people's pain receptors are taking a back seat also. No one really knows what these organs do or anything, so to some they are treated like a sort of cancerous growth, and to others something to be embraced. The same with the lack of pain and all this sort of a thing. So this leads into these sort of art scenarios where you have people who are putting on performance art of surgeries, of self-mutilation essentially, the tattooing of these body parts that are then removed for show, for artistic purposes, while people watch and all this sort of thing. And at the same time there's a certain sexuality made out of this as well, that sex as we know it is in itself evolving because of the pain receptors being gone, that people get sexual pleasure out of going through these surgeries and this sort of a thing. And this is where it harks back to films like Crash, which was a film about this underground network of people who, after car crashes, got together to have sex and this sort of a thing. So this is what I'm saying about David Cronenberg and his films. Somewhat unusual, shall we say, somewhat weird, an acquired taste. And I don't know if it's a taste that I like. And this film starts off with this young boy who's at a beachside, and there's a sunken vessel behind him. Interesting visually, aesthetic choice. And he's down on the beach, and his mother warns him not to eat anything that he may pick up on the beach. All right, fair enough. But then when he comes in, he goes, he brushes his teeth, and then he starts eating the plastic waste paper basket in the bathroom. His mother sees him doing this, and she's a bit sort of like, you know, taken aback. So she decides to stick a pillow over his face in the night and kill him. She's arrested for this, obviously. We're then introduced to the Viggo Mortensen character, who is a fella who looks like he's on death's door, that he is full of tumours, but he keeps growing these growths, and then he keeps going onto the knife to have them removed for this artistic integrity. But part of his inner demons is that he doesn't want to embrace this new lifestyle. He wants these things removed from his body in an act of defiance against them, essentially. And he's got this woman who you could say she's his partner, but she's sort of like his performance art partner who helps out. She's the one that tattoos the internals and all this sort of a thing. And we're introduced to Scott Speedman's character, who's actually the father of the young boy, and it turns out that he wants his boy to go under one of these performance art shows, the corpse of his boy, to show him internally, because as it turns out that this boy had grown with these internal organs all attached and all this sort of a thing, and he was born this way with these new organs because his dad and this other sect of people who have embraced sort of our neo-technology now, our new ways of technology, that they managed to feast on industrial waste instead of actually feasting on food, and all this sort of weird stuff within the concept of this film. It's a very, very strange film, and I'll be honest, this nearly came under one that I switched off, and I did switch the film off at one point when he was in this gallery of individuals, and you saw this geezer having his mouth sewn up and his eyes were sewn shut, and he had ears like essentially attached to his entire body for the purposes of art, and then started dancing to music because it was all about hearing and not speaking and seeing in the sense of the artistic integrity of this piece. So visually it's a very, very, very weird film, and this is where I get a bit put off because, like I said, I switched off at this point. I thought, no, this isn't for me. But then I felt intrigued and compelled to go back and see it out to the end, because the film isn't overly long. It runs for 1 hour and 47 minutes. Now, I can't fault the performances in the film. You know, Viggo Mortensen gives a fantastic performance. Scott B. Speedman is adequate. But, you know, Kristen Stewart, you wouldn't know it was her. She's very sort of chameleonic within this film compared to roles that she would normally play. Yeah, so there's, you know, David Cronenberg as a director, he can get a performance out of people. He can shoot a well-looking film. But I have to question, while watching this sort of a film, is what's going on in your mind? You know, to think up these concepts. To, you know, does it say something about your inner self? You know, are you into pain when it comes to sex and this sort of a thing? You know, there's something to be said about sex and about pleasure and pain being something that goes hand in hand in this sort of film thing. But these sort of films take it to the next level, to an uncomfortable level, shall we say. And some people may get their rocks off in film on this sort of a thing. This film is very much in the vein of body horror, which Cronenberg has stepped into before with films like The Fly and with films like Crash and this sort of a thing. But I don't really know whether it's for me. There are certain visual aspects to aesthetics. What am I saying? Aesthetics to the film that hark back to his movie Existence. Primarily the sort of this biomechanical type of instruments within the film, medical instruments and devices like this that do hark to that the aesthetics within that film. So the film does have some sort of artistic worth, and I don't know, I can't say it's a bad film. It's not a bad film, okay? It's a weird film, it's an unusual film. It's not a film for me. It's not a film that I would ever consider re-watching or revisiting. It's an interesting film in what it does and what it's trying to say. It's just very, very much an acquired taste, and like I said, I can't eat out of that bowl. That's all I can say. Anyway, this is AJ. Thank you for watching me. Thank you for joining me in this review for this movie. If you've made it this far, then please consider hitting that subscribe button. Let me know your thoughts down below if you've seen this film. What you think of David Cronenberg's other work. And yeah, there we go. This is AJ again. Thank you, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care all, and goodbye.